We say good morning.
This Mixed TV interview is supplied by Wholesale Supply Group. Visit us online at wholesalesupply.us.
Great, Steve. Good to be with you this morning.
Well, thank you, sir, very much for joining us. I'm going to jump right in here. I've got to get your reaction to what has happened in the United States House of Representatives, where really for the first time in American history, we do not have a Speaker of the House.
Well, there's a race going on right now to get that addressed. Several people have put their names in the hat. Jim Jordan, Steve Scalise, maybe others that are coming online. They have an interim Speaker Pro Tem that will hold things together during this process. You know, I've had people ask me this question multiple times, even when they watched the initial election of Speaker McCarthy, about how rough and how ugly it is. And I said, one thing you've got to understand is that this is all being done in the public eye. Can you imagine how the Democrats, though, seated their leadership in the last Congress and the Senate? What sort of arguments, what sort of fight took place that would have yielded Bernie Sanders, an avowed socialist, as the chairman of the Senate Budget Committee? Yet that's what we got. The difference is that the Democrats do it all behind closed doors, and what we're seeing here is, you know, the messy aspects of democracy.
We're joined by U.S. Senator Bill Hagerty. Do you have a preference on who becomes the Speaker of the House? Any of the confirmed candidates that you would support?
No, I don't have a preference at all. I know the people whose names have been floated. I know I can work with any of them. I have a good working relationship with my colleagues in the House, particularly those here in Tennessee. I spend a lot of time with my colleagues in the House trying to figure out ways that we can carry our conservative message along together. I feel strongly that working together in concert with the House, we can get more amplification of our conservative voice, more coordination, and increase the odds that we'll get conservative principles and policies across the finish line. So I look forward to working with whomever they bring forward. I just wish that we had more time to pay attention to things like our appropriations process, which is front and center right now in the Senate.
All right, so I want to go back a couple of weeks. This is the first time we've been able to visit with you since the stopgap funding bill to continue the federal government up against the deadline to shut down. Just why did you vote against that continuing bill, spending bill?
I had been very clear with all of my colleagues that we have a national security crisis of epic proportions at our southern border. Any continuing resolution, any funding for the U.S. government should have serious border security funding embedded in the bill. In fact, what the White House sent over, buried multiple pages deep in their language for continuing the government operations, they sent over language that would have allowed them to completely defund ICE, to repurpose ICE, which is the only law enforcement agency that we have that deports people here illegally, even people that are here with serious criminal records. They wanted the ability to defund that and turn that into a travel agency to more rapidly send people into the interior of America. And I just said, enough's enough. I worked my heart out with my team night and day for days, putting together a very solid set of options for us in border security. At the end of the day, I couldn't get my colleagues to agree to it, and I told them I was not going to be supportive of legislation moving forward that did not have that in it. They know that. I'm going to work with them the next 45 days to keep trying to get this accomplished, Steve. That's my goal and focus right now.
We're joined by United States Senator Bill Hagerty this morning here on Mix 104.1 and MixTV.tv. Let me ask you, Senator, let's go back to the border for a moment. Just give us an update. Where are we as far as the border right now?
Well, we're closing in on nearly 8 million what they call encounters. These are people that have illegally invaded our country, just to be clear. We're closing in on about 8 million of these encounters since Joe Biden took office. Steve, the population of our state's only 7 million. This is just incredible, the invasion that's taking place at our southern border. And each year, the crisis is worse than the year before it. Each month now brings a new record high in terms of the number of people that come across and get away. In September, the numbers that I have show that we've got over 260,000 that are broken into our country. That's a new record for 2023. And they're seeing now north of 10,000 people a day, completely overwhelming our Border Patrol agents there. We are being flooded with illegal people. We have over 170 different nationalities that have been apprehended. This doesn't talk about the ones that get away. Over 170 different nationalities have been apprehended at the border. We have no idea who's coming into this country and what type of national security crisis we have exposed ourselves to.
And we're joined by Senator Bill Hagerty. What are some of the, as you see it, some of the situations maybe that have been caused by this as far as these migrants coming into to our country illegally?
Well, one of them is the massive inflation that we've had under Joe Biden. He continues to spend, diverting funds, doing all of this stuff, spending to facilitate this. Those are our taxpayer dollars driving up the deficit and increasing inflation. Biden is dumping these people into the United States of America. You've heard the mayor of New York say it's destroying his city. We have crime through the roof. When you've got an administration like the Biden administration that spent, their whole time campaigning back in 2020 on defunding the police, criticizing law enforcement, and now just openly allowing, criminal activity to flood across the southern border. And one of the worst aspects of this criminal activity is the drug trafficking. And every time I talk with the sheriff in Tennessee, they tell me that the jails are full of people involved in drug trafficking, most of it fentanyl. And if it's not killing our youth, it's creating crime to support this illicit activity. It's a scourge on America, and I'll lay the responsibility for that at the foot of Joe Biden.
We're joined by Senator Bill Hagerty. Senator, you're a member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and you have called on. You sent a letter to the president along with some other colleagues of yours, following a publication of sensitive documents in the Iranian regime-controlled Tehran Times. Will you tell us a little bit about that, please, sir?
It's just shocking. I guess nothing should shock me, though, at this point with this administration. What they have is email evidence of a person who's part of what they call the Iranian Experts Initiative. This was a group of, quote, academic experts that the government of Iran, the world's largest sponsor of terror, by the way, that the Iranian government reached out to create this experts initiative to try to influence the United States government. It turns out that Rob Malley, the chief negotiator for the United States, who never went through Senate confirmation, the chief negotiator for the United States to get us back into this awful Iran deal, Rob Malley's assistant, he brought this person in to work for him at the State Department. I don't know how she got a clearance, but she's a member of this Iranian Experts Initiative. And then, as he left, he placed her over at the Pentagon. She's now in a very sensitive position over there with top-secret security clearances. We've seen email traffic now showing her actually conferring with the Iranian government as to what meetings she should attend or not attend. I mean, this is just shocking, the level of influence that the Biden administration has permitted to occur within its own administration. When we've asked for the person's suspension, at least pending an investigation, no response. As my understanding is that she's still sitting at the Pentagon, still attending meetings with top-secret clearances, still seeing this information, and I think the American public should be deeply concerned about anyone like this having that type of access. This is the Biden administration.
Well, United States Senator Bill Hagerty, anything you want to add here before we go, Senator?
Well, we'll be working very hard over the course of the next 40 days to try to move these appropriations bills through and avoid the type of chaos that we had here, toward the end of the last expiration of September 30th. It's going to be very hard to do that, but please know that border security is going to be top of mind for me right now. That's something that we absolutely have to get fixed, and I'm again, working with my team very hard to try to get that addressed.
Senator Bill Hagerty of the Volunteer State. Senator, we appreciate your time, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you,
All
sir.
the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank him. Thank her. Thank her. Thank him. Thank her. Thank you. Thank her. Thank him. See, we do these things after they're gone, Well, what about the last 40 minutes here, Bridget?
Yeah, lots of information.
The nice thing is these people call us. So we're and I'm being, I wouldn't say dead serious, but very serious. We do not take that lightly. And here's the deal. We've been doing it. It started long before us since 1957. What? We try to take the people who make the decisions and put them on the air to inform you. Bridget and myself, we do a horrible job of that. So we're trying to pay, and of course, yes. Fruit Loops, who we have now recognized as basically AI with a bad shirt on and a bad haircut.
That's so mean.
Is it?
Yes.
Well, you told me you had written the note that Mike Griffin looked like a zombie dressed up for Halloween. I get to go see him at 9.
I didn't say that.
Brad Benton, Night of the Living Dead. So it's 11 after 8 Brad's ironing his hair right now. Yep, that's about right. He's our fearless leader. So good morning, Tim Henderson. Hey, Tim, head of Cleveland Utilities. How about that $6 million from the state? Not bad. I don't think Tim gets any of that. I think it pretty much goes to Cleveland Utilities.
Oh, too bad.
We'll get to see all these guys coming up here in a few minutes. All right. What are we doing? 11 after 8. Let's. I tell you what. Let's get a check of the streets here, Bridget. Tell me what's going on.
Okay, this Don Ledford Cleveland Mixed Highway Patrol report is brought to you by Don Ledford in Cleveland. They are your exclusive home of Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC, located on North Lee Highway, and anytime at donledford.com. Crews are still working to clear up that accident, Georgetown Road at Paul Huff Parkway. So be aware of that. We are still seeing delays in that area. Again, that's Georgetown Road at Paul Huff Parkway, and then also on the interstate, I-75 is southbound on White Oak Mountain. There's an accident there. It looks like it's going to be on the right shoulder, but it is causing delays there on the interstate. Looks like nearly to exit 20 at this point. So be aware of that as you drive this morning. And then also, just a reminder, coming up later today from 9:30 this morning till 1:30 this afternoon, TDOT will assist the Tennessee Division of Forestry with a prescribed burn by closing the two outside lanes on I-75 north between exit 1 and the I-24-75 split.
Burn,
yes.
baby, burn. Why are we doing this?
I don't know. So avoid that area between 9:30 and 1:30 today.
Good Lord.
Crazy.
So in an effort for you to have to spend less time with your family, we're doing a contest. Well, fall breaks next week, so whatever. But we're doing a contest. Or maybe your family doesn't want to spend time with you, which is probably more accurate. Anyway, so we're doing a contest here with our friends at Ruby Falls, Bridget. Just remind us, because we're going to give these passes away at 9 a.m. Is that right?
That's right, yeah. So Ruby Falls presents Dread Hollow, Camp Dread, and have a couple of facts here about Dread Hollow. It's consistently named.
Wonderful. I was wanting some facts.
Dread Hollow is consistently named one of the top 10 favorite haunts in the nation. Over 20,000 plus square feet of all new haunted house sets, horror-themed escape rooms, making this one of the most unnervingly innovative haunts in the nation.
Wow.
So they have several options for you. They do have a girls' night out package, also a date night package as well. So
let's
you can find out.
Let's take a date. That's a good idea. That's nice.
You can find out all the details. Tickets available only online at dreadhollow.com.
You know who's going to be first in line?
Who?
Barrett and Leslie Painter.
Yeah?
They're going to be first in line. Barrett's sister is down at Ruby Falls.
Yep. Beth.
Beth Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Beth, we be loving Beth.
Yeah.
But Barrett and Leslie will be first in line. That's Barrett's sister, by the way.